Before you create a budget, before you can start saving, and before you even think about investing, you need to do this one thing to be able to stop living paycheck to paycheck and get out of debt. I used to live paycheck to paycheck and was drowning in debt until I got so fed up with working so damn hard to be this damn broke all the time. I learned everything I could about personal finance, how to manage my money, create a budget, that I even learned about investments and became a financial advisor. And I didn't learn any of it in school. I was all self-taught. I was never good at math. I'm just an average Mo who, like I said, was fed up and was tired of breaking my back and having nothing to show for it. So I learned everything that I could, and I felt like I was uncovering secrets along the way, things that I was never taught in school. And along the way, I developed a passion for wanting to share what I uncovered with all the other average Mo's out there who didn't learn this stuff in school. That's why I left Wall Street and started my coaching service, Guided Paycheck Strategies, because after all, you can't seek answers to questions you never conceived. So if you're ready to take your first step on your journey, click the link in the description below to find your start. I have sort of an unpopular opinion, and that is, you're not poor, you're broke. See, to be poor is to be physically unable to live off what you make. To be broke is living on more than what you make. And I know you're probably thinking, well, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I'm broke because I have nothing left after paying my necessities, what I need to survive. And chances are, if you got on a written budget, you'd be able to poke holes in that argument pretty quickly. There's a popular saying that if all the wealth in the world were divided equally, in a matter of a few short years, the rich would be rich again. Well, why is that? It's because they know how to spend their money, not how to save it. Our focus should be on how to spend it. Because when you spend your money on consumables, things that you'll use up and deplete and need to replace, then you're left with nothing. You don't have the money you spent on it or the thing you purchased anymore. And when you invest your money, that money is working for you. And it comes back to my saying, you can't seek answers to questions you've never conceived. Think about that. Chances are when you turned 18, you got a credit card offer and weren't really sure about how interest works, let alone that there's investments that you can make that will pay you interest instead of you paying someone else interest. So it's not entirely your fault that you're broke, right? Like I said, I fell in the same revolving debt trap. And a lot of us are, unfortunately. I think it's something like almost half of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and almost a third of whom make over 6 figures a year. I believe actually over 200,000 a year. Could be wrong, don't quote me on that. But it just goes to show that it's a lack of financial literacy education. It's a lack of information. And the information is out there. It's not like it's being hidden from us. It's out there. We just need to know where to look and what questions to ask. And that's the purpose of this channel. See, there's no raise, no promotion, no winning lottery ticket. That's why a lot of lottery ticket winners go broke. A lot of professional athletes go broke. And that's because we were never taught how to manage our money, right? We fall into what's called lifestyle creep, right? We start making more money. Now we have a nicer car, bigger house, all the big boy toys you ever wanted. And you're broke again, living paycheck to paycheck. Doesn't matter how much money you're making. That's the lifestyle creep. So we need to learn delayed gratification, right? Dave Ramsey says we need to live like no one else now so that later we can live and give like no one else. It's not saying, oh, I'm never going to take a vacation again. I'm never going to get an iced coffee again. It's just those temporary sacrifices that you make so that you can get to a point where you can afford those things. See, the way I like to think about it is, I call it the apex analogy. Apex is, if you ever watch NASCAR or Formula One or any type of race, you'll notice that the drivers, when they're approaching a turn, they swing out wide, and then right as they approach the turn, they hug the corner, and then swing back out wide again. And that's because that creates the straightest path through that turn. Because the straightest path is the fastest path. You'll see that on your G.P.S. too. If you ever route a destination, the G.P.S. will show you the highway route and the back roads route. The back roads may be 3 miles, while the highway is 6 miles. And although the highway is double the miles, it takes half the time. That's because there's less turns you have to take. And the more turns you have to take, the more you need to slow down. So your money works the same way. Every time you borrow money that you don't have, or spend frivolously on a consumable that you'll use up and need to replace, it's essentially putting a big orange sign in the road that says road closed, follow detour, right? So now you need to take 2 steps back and then another 2 steps to end up right where you started. That's how spending money correctly will progress you along towards your destination. And again, it's only temporary, right? I'm not saying don't enjoy your money, but you need to make sure you're at a place where you can afford these things before you start to enjoy the fruits of your labor. You owe it to yourself, you owe it to your kids, your future self, anyone who depends on you, to make sure you're in that space. We all work way too hard, and we spend most of our week, most of our days at work just to put food on the table, and barely get to enjoy that with the people we love. So make the small sacrifice, the temporary sacrifice today, so that you can enjoy those things later. In the next video, we'll talk about the snowball method, and I'll walk you guys through how I use that to get out of debt and break the paycheck to paycheck cycle. So if you're ready to take this journey, subscribe, come along, and we'll see you at the next one.